Hello everyone, my name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I do appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing and doing all that stuff, I appreciate that as well. That does help the channel grow. For that, I appreciate you guys. This video, I'm just going to do a quick update on what's going on in the crypto world over the last few days. There's been a few fairly significant items going on. Not bad news necessarily, just some news, and some of it's interesting. If you want to stay till the end of this video, I'm going to do a quick SEC versus Ripple update. And I can show you again just how petty and stupid the SEC is being, and that's always enjoyable for me. So stick around to the end and you guys can catch that. So let's get straight into this content. Right now, BlackRock is partnering with Coinbase. Why is this positive news for the crypto world? In my opinion. So BlackRock has $10 trillion under management, which is huge. It makes them one of the largest companies in the world. They decided they're going to join forces with Coinbase and allow their institutional investors to basically get some exposure to digital assets on the Coinbase platform. Now, Coinbase Prime, which is Coinbase's institutional platform, unlike just the regular Coinbase platform, which is for you and me, but they have this Coinbase Prime, which basically institutional, meaning financial institutions and banks and retirement accounts and 401s and all the things like that they can get on there, and they can do some trading and get some exposure to that digital asset, and Bitcoin especially. So Coinbase Prime has 13,000 institutional clients currently, and BlackRock has a massive cache of institutional investors on their platform as well, which is called Aladdin right here. Common clients of Aladdin and Coinbase are able to manage their Bitcoin exposures alongside their public and private investments for a whole portfolio view of risk. So this is basically one of the largest companies in the world getting in and kind of solidifying the fact that these big companies are going to be getting into the crypto space. Now, this is positive for crypto in general because, as you may have known, Coinbase has not had the easiest time as of late. Not even the worst of it is the fact that their value of the Coinbase stock has gone down like 60% since the beginning of the year. They stumbled a little bit earlier in the year with their SEC filing that says that if they went bankrupt, that depositors' money could become their money and depositors' crypto can become their crypto, which isn't very positive, if you're a Coinbase customer. So that was a problem. Price tanked on that. Another problem, the SEC now is going after them and investigating them for listing what the SEC considers securities. That happened when the SEC filed an insider trading charge to a former product manager of Coinbase, alleging insider trading, and then listed 9 tokens that they stated were securities, and that this insider trading was also trading in these illegal unregistered securities, which right now doesn't mean anything. Just because the SEC says they're securities means nothing, right? They have to be proven to be that. So we're going to wait for that. It's probably going to be a long court case to determine all of those things, but then also stated that they were going to investigate Coinbase for listing these unregistered securities, which was weird. And if you saw my last video, the odd thing about that is that the SEC themselves approved the program that Coinbase uses to vet out new tokens to see whether they're securities or they're just commodities or currencies. And so the SEC has approved their process in doing that. Also, the SEC approved the S1 for Coinbase to go public. And during that time when they went public, some of those alleged unregistered securities were already on the platform. So how did that get missed? How did the SEC allow Coinbase to go public with unregistered securities on their platform? I don't know. It's a mystery. So obviously they've had issues. The value of their stock's been tanking. And if Coinbase goes out of business or goes bankrupt or halts trading for some reason, that is going to have massive consequences in the crypto space. Coinbase being the largest crypto exchange in the US, that would cause massive price movements to the downside, to say the least. So a large company like BlackRock coming in, I do believe it's going to help solidify and stabilize Coinbase and help them out, in any kind of a future, situation that might arise. So it is good for the crypto space in general. I'm not a huge fan of BlackRock myself. Not that they've done anything personal to me, but I'm just not a huge fan of these massive, massive companies, because basically at some point they're trying to take over the entire world. They want to own everything. And that's not a good thing. It's never a good thing when that happens. Moving on from that, Michael Saylor. You guys know who Michael Saylor is? He is probably one of the number one Bitcoin maxis on the planet. Seems like a smart guy, although sometimes the things he says doesn't sound so smart. He would love to see the entirety of crypto go down the drain, except for Bitcoin, right? Which is not a smart statement because he completely trivializes all of the other technology benefits that we're going to get from some of these cryptocurrencies. Now, yes, 98% of the cryptocurrencies that exist today are complete garbage and will not be around in 5 years. That I'm not even going to say that's my opinion. I'm going to say that's more likely a fact. And if you look at it, there's 20,000 cryptocurrencies that exist out there, roughly, ish. And if you take the top 200 that there may be some utility for, and a lot of them do have utility and are out there already working in the real world, solving problems. If you take 200 or maybe even 300 or 400, that still leaves 98% of cryptocurrencies are garbage and going to go away. So Michael Saylor resigns as the CEO of MicroStrategies. Now, is it a good thing, a bad thing? I don't know. It's probably a good thing so that he's not going to talk so much about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is everything, even though it literally has no use case. So maybe this will help him shut up a little bit since he's going to be now behind the scenes, still most likely buying Bitcoin. And he's really stepping down because he's lost, I think, nearly $2 billion of value over this last 6 months. And I think the shareholders don't like it, right? I wouldn't like it if I was a shareholder. All right, and moving on to the next story, Coinbase stock. Now, I told you earlier just about the Coinbase story. Cathie Wood, who is the CEO of ARK Invest, which is a massive cryptocurrency forward company, she's bought a ton of Coinbase stock, and she bought back in the early days a ton of it. Just sold a little bit ago about 1.4 million shares. I think it's in here somewhere. 1.4 million shares at around $53. Now, she bought these at a cost basis near $255 a share. Okay, that's not good. That's an 80% loss. And since she's sold at $53, Coinbase shares have almost doubled since then. So not a great move. And this is a good example, just like Michael Saylor. You can't listen to everybody. Just because these people are wealthy doesn't make them smart. And it doesn't make them know everything, right? You can't just listen to these guys who are at the top because they make massive mistakes. Michael Saylor was the biggest loser in the dot-com bubble back in the 90s and early 2000s. When he bought in stocks and companies and lost, I believe, around $13 billion during that crash. So just because they're wealthy and just because they sit at the top of these companies does not make them smart. And it doesn't mean that you need to listen to them. It's too bad for Cathie Wood. I don't have anything against her. I don't really believe she's a maxi of Bitcoin. And she's somebody who likes to push crypto forward. So I can appreciate that. But when you own a big company like that and you're responsible, you've got to make decisions. And, I think she just made a bad decision. So let's get into the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. Now, there is not a whole lot going on right now. It's moving rather slowly. The SEC would love to drag this thing out for another 10 years if they could, because they don't want to lose. And I think they're going to lose in this one way or the other. There's going to be a loss for the SEC. I think they're going to go running with their tail between their legs. Congress may step in before then and determine that the SEC is not even going to be involved in the crypto space unless specific cryptocurrencies are designated to be securities. Then obviously they'll be in charge of that. But I think the CFTC at some point is going to be responsible for a majority of the crypto field. So the newest thing here is that Ripple has again and has been over the last year asking the SEC to authenticate some videos that shows their employees and former employees giving some speeches, and some of that information is going to be useful to them. And the SEC says, no, we're not going to do that. Why? Because they're petty little jerks, and that's what they want to do. And then on top of that, they turn around and say, well, we want to open up discovery so we can subpoena some more videos of our own. And they're only doing this just to spite Ripple. They don't really need anything, and all they're doing is just trying to drag this thing on longer and longer. Attorney Jeremy Hogan, who is a pro-Ripple, truth be known, he's a pro-Ripple attorney, and he says in here that the SEC, or he's accusing the SEC of not authenticating its own employee speeches, which this is misleading because it's not him accusing the SEC. It's literally the SEC saying, no, they're not going to do it. So it's a fact He doesn't really have to accuse them of it. It is a fact. It's a fact that they're doing it now, and they've been doing it this entire lawsuit. So there is going to be, or there already has been, a filing by Ripple, basically laying this case out about, hey, can you please tell the SEC to authenticate these videos for us because they are very useful to our case. And now we have to wait for the judge to rule on that. And then the SEC is saying, hey, we want to reopen discovery so we can get some videos of our own. And then she's going to have to rule on that. So we're going to be waiting here. It could be in a few weeks before we hear anything new. And it's just kind of just trudging along. Here is one of those videos that Ripple would like to get their hands on. And this is about a former commissioner, Robert Jackson. And in this video, it says, the former SEC commissioner in Donald Trump's administration has made controversial remarks about the SEC's approach to regulating cryptocurrencies. He claimed that the regulator deliberately avoided clarity on this direction, especially in the area of the status of digital assets as securities, and chose the vector of communicating with the market. So basically, this is saying exactly what the SEC is doing currently. They've literally given no guidelines whatsoever to the crypto community about what is an SEC or what is a security and what is not. And they're doing that intentionally because they can do what they're calling regulation by enforcement. So they can just go in and they can enforce these laws, and they can sue companies to get settlements, because that's the only way the SEC wins anything, is they want the money, right? They want the money. This is how they are viewed by their peers. How much money can you get from these companies? Knowing that 95% of the companies are going to settle because they don't have deep pockets. The SEC does, because the SEC has taxpayer money. So they literally have unlimited funds to sue these companies out of existence, or sue them just so that they'll turn over large fines and move on. But they chose to sue Ripple, which was probably a bad choice because Ripple has very deep pockets and they are determined to take this to the mat and prove that the SEC is wrong. I'm with them on that. I don't like the SEC at all. I'll tell you, every time I talk about them, they are the most corrupt government agency we have in this country. And I think by far, but I'm only saying that because I don't know all of the corruption that goes on in all of the other government agencies we have, which I guarantee you are all corrupt. I know that's a pessimistic attitude to have. I'm a U.S. citizen and I'm proud to be a U.S. citizen. However, I know the government runs on corruption. And then unfortunately, that's just most governments. So it is what it is. That's where we're at with the SEC versus Ripple case. It's just going to go on very slowly for many more months. And I'm going to be here to cover it. Anything big that happens, I'm going to let you guys know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, and I hope you guys don't get scared out of the market. Things are going to turn around. It's going to be some months from now, but it's going to come back, bigger, better, faster than it did before. Don't worry about that. Just keep on hanging on, and we'll get through it. And I will see you guys on the next one.